Hey everyone, Zankus here, and today I want to share with you the next deck that I am building in real life, not just on digital platforms. This is Jeskai Control for Modern. Um, it's a fun deck. I've been testing it out on Xmage. It's a popular deck in Modern right now. I'm not claiming that I came up with this idea. I just put this together and wanted to share it with you guys. Before we get into it, just remember to subscribe and leave me a comment. So we'll start with the land base. I have 4 Celestial Colonnades. A little expensive, but definitely worth it. Later on in the game, this is going to be your, I guess, beat stick, if you want to call it that, or win condition, or just something to block with, or something like that. If you ran out of removal. You pay 3 a white and a blue, and you get a 4/4 blue elemental flying and vigilance. It's still a land. So we got 4 of those. We have 4 flooded strands, the white blue fetch, and a white blue check land, Glacial Fortress. Got 1 of those. 2 hollowed fountains. They count as plains and islands, so you could fetch for them. It's the blue-white Shockland. 2 of those. And 3 islands, 1 mountain, 2 plains. I got 1 Sacred Foundry. It's the red-white Shock. 4 Scolding Tarns. This is the blue-red fetch land. Steam Vents, the blue-red Shockland. And I threw in 1 Sulphur Falls, the blue-red check land. So for our 1-drops, you got Serum Visions. It's a 1 cost, draw a card, and then scry 2. This is good for, fixing your hand, fixing your draws, and drawing you that extra card. Great on turn 1. Awesome removal spell, Path to Exile. It's a 1 white instant, remove target creature from the game, exile it. Its controller may search his or her library for a basic land card and put it into play tapped. And 3 iconic lightning bolts. 1 red, lightning bolt deals 3 damage to target creature or player. Yeah, it's just lightning bolt. Of course, you gotta have that in there. I included 3 lightning helix, a red and a white. Instant lightning helix just deals 3 damage to target creature or player, and you gain 3 life. Alright, so some counter spells. We have 3 Logic Knots. It's 2 blue and X, and you could delve for the X. So you with this deck, most of the time you're gonna have fetch lands and Serum Visions and stuff in your graveyard to delve with. So you could counter pretty much most stuff that opponent's gonna be playing. Mana Leak. It's the 1 and a blue counter for. And its controller can pay 3 to counter that. So it's a good early counter, or it's a good late game, like your opponent wants to play a big card and taps out, so you could stop them doing that. Put in 2 Search for Azcanthus. Search for Azcanthus, it's 2-drop, and you scry at the beginning. Well, no, not really scry. You look at the top card at the beginning of your upkeep, and you could either put it back on the top of your library or put it into your graveyard. And then you flip it if there's 7 or more cards in your graveyard. Then it flips to Azcanta, the Sunken Rune. This is why you want it. 2 and a blue. You look at the top 4 cards of your library, and you reveal a non-creature, non-land card, and put it into your hand. The rest on the bottom of your library. And of course, 4 Snapcaster Mages. So this turns basically 4 paths into 8 paths, 3 Logic Knots into 6. It doubles up on your removal, doubles up on your counters, and you could flash him and block also, or do some shenanigans with him like that. We have Sphinx's Revelation. I got 1 of that. It's X, white, and 2 blue. instant, and you gain X life and draw X cards. This is good if you have a ton of open mana on your opponent's end step. You could do this and gain a bunch of life and draw a bunch of cards. I got 2 of Electrolyze, 1 a blue and a red. Instant Electrolyze deals 2 damage divided as you choose among any number of target creatures or players. This is good to take out like a smaller creature or one toughness creatures, and it replaces itself by you draw a card. 4 cryptic commands, very versatile, a little expensive, but it does a lot. You could choose 2 of the following. So it's a counter target spell, return target permanent to its owner's hand, tap all creatures your opponent controls, or draw a card. So it does a lot for that 4 mana. And 2 Supreme Verdicts. This is a great board wipe because Supreme Verdict cannot be countered and just destroy all creatures. Of course, it doesn't work on Indestructible, but you know, it is pretty good. And to round off our main deck, we got 2 Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. Everybody knows and loves this card. It's a 3 white and a blue Planeswalker. His +1 is draw a card, and then at the beginning of the next end step, untap 2 lands, which is nice. You could put him out once you get 5 mana on the board, and then do his +1, draw a card, and then at the end of the turn, untap 2 and still have mana for, say, a Mana Leak or Logic Knot or a Path or Lightning Bolt or whatever. Keeps your options open. His -3 is pretty good. You put target non-land permanent onto its owner's library, 3rd from the top. You get rid of a pesky card if you don't have any artifact removal, enchantment removal, something like that. Or if you just ran out of paths or bolts or something like that, get rid of a creature for a couple turns, and then hopefully you could counter it when they play it again. And his ultimate, you get an emblem whenever you draw a card, exile target permanent and opponent controls. Very strong. Okay, now the sideboard. You got some artifact hate right here, a braid, 1 of, deals 3 damage, and destroy target artifact. Celestial Purge. It's an instant for 1 and a white, exile target black or red permanent. So it's very it's specific, but it's strong. It's exiling, so it's pretty good. I got 2 of Dampening Sphere. This is for our Tron players and our Storm players. And Dire Fleet Daredevil. It is what some call the poor man's Snapcaster Mage. So what it doesn't have flash, which is a downside. It is the 2/1 first strike, and when he enters the battlefield, exile target instant or sorcery card from an opponent's graveyard. You may cast that card this turn, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any type to cast that spell. If that card would be put into a graveyard this turn, exile it instead. Alright, now Disdainful Stroke. It's a 1 and a blue instant counter. You counter spells with mana cost 4 or greater. And another counter, a Dispel. It's for the instants. It's a 1 cost counter, and you just counter target instant spell. I put a Elspeth Sun Champion, 4 and 2 white. Planeswalker, comes in with 4 loyalty counters. +1 is put 3 1/1 white soldier creature tokens into the battlefield. -3 is destroy all creatures with power 4 or greater. Great board wipe. And -7, her ultimate is you get an emblem with creatures you control get +2/+2 and have flying. So you make a bunch of little white soldiers and give them +2/+2, so you got 3/3 flyers. Engineered Explosive. It's a kind of expensive artifact. It's a X casting course, Sunburst, and then it gets counters for each different color of mana you use. So basically 3 for us because we have access to 3 different colors of mana with this deck. And then pay 2, sacrifice it, destroy each non-land permanent with converted mana cost equal to the number of charge counters on engineered explosives. So if he has a bunch of, if you're playing Affinity and they have all their 0 cost or 1 or 2, you just pop this down for 0 and pop it, and you get rid of his 0 cards, and then, or his 1 cost or 2 cost. Yeah. It's pretty good. Is it Staticaster? This is for token decks. 1 a blue and a red, flash, haste, and it deals 1 damage to target creature and each other creature with the same name as that creature. So you hit one of their tokens that are like 1/1s if they have a bunch of 1/1s like Elspeth makes, and you tap it and you destroy them all. Put a negate in here. Counter target non-creature spell for 1 in the blue. Settle the wreckage, a little, some more board wipe for not really board wipe, but like if they decide to swing with everything, you could take out everything they got. Stony Silence again for our affinity players. 1 in a white. Activated abilities of artifacts can't be activated. Also good against Tron. I've learned the hard way. Vendilion Clique. You got 1 and 2 blue. It's Fairy Wizard, legendary, flash flying, and when Vendilion Clique comes into play, look at target player's hand. You may choose a non-land card from it. If you do, that player reveals the chosen card, puts it onto the bottom of his or her library, then draws a card. And to round off the sideboard, we have Wear and Tear. Pay 1 in a red, you get to destroy an artifact. 1 white, destroy target enchantment. If you pay both, you could do both. This is for, say, hexproof decks with coming out Leyline turn 1. Turn 1, you could destroy it and ruin their plans. And also, it's a good artifact removal. So that is my my Jeskai control deck. Let me know what you guys think. And as always, may your packs be spicy.